Tuples in Python are gaining popularity and have become an inevitable part of Python. These tuples provide easy access to and manipulation of data. Understanding this, we have come up with this video on tuples in Python. Now, before we go ahead with the session, I'd like to inform that we have launched a completely free platform called as Great Learning Academy, where you have access to free courses such as AI, cloud, and digital marketing. You can check out the details in the description below. Now we'll head on to the main component, which is about the different data structures in Python. So we have tuple, list, dictionary, and set. Let's start off with the first data structure, which is a tuple. So till now, when we have worked with single variables, we were able to store only one value or a single value inside a variable. But with the help of these different data structures such as tuple, list, set, and dictionary, we'll be able to store multiple elements inside a data structure. And it's not that we can store only multiple elements of a single data type. We can also store elements of different classes or different types into this data structure. So let's start with tuple. What exactly is a tuple? It is an ordered collection of elements enclosed within round braces, and tuples are immutable. What do I mean when I say tuples are immutable? So what this basically means is if you create a tuple, then you can't go ahead and change any of the values present in it later on. A tuple cannot be modified once you create it. And this is the example of a tuple over here. So we have round braces. Inside the round braces, I have stored the elements 1, A, and true. So as you see, I have elements of different types. So we can store elements of different types into a tuple. So let me create my first tuple in Jupyter Notebook. I'll type in, let me actually have this in a fresh space. I'll add the comment tuple. And over here, I'll type in tup1. I'll have round braces over here. So first element is 1. Then I'll have Sparta. Then I'll have true over here. And then let me just print out tup1. So I have created this tuple. Now let me check the type of this. Type inside this, I will pass in tup1. And this tells us that this is a tuple. Now, if I want to extract individual elements from a tuple, how can I do that? Well, the process is pretty much similar as when compared to strings. So if we want to extract the first element from a tuple, so as you guys see over here, I have created a tuple which comprises of all of these elements. 1, A, true, 2, B, false. And if I want to extract the first element, since the first element is present at index number 0, I'd have to give in the name of the tuple, and inside the parenthesis, I'd have to give in the index value, which will be 0. And I have extracted this particular element from this entire tuple. Similarly, if I want to extract the last element, so if I want to extract the last element, I just have to give in -1. So in tup1, I'll give in -1. And with the help of this, I am able to extract the last element. Now, if I want to extract a continuous sequence of elements, so here if I want to extract A, true, and 2, which is a continuous sequence of elements, I'd have to give something like this. So inside the parenthesis, I'll give in 1:4. So this is the starting value of the index. This is the ending value of the index. Now here, when it comes to Python, you'd have to keep in mind that the ending value is exclusive. The starting value is inclusive. So when you give 1, the starting index value A, right? So we have 1 and we have extracted this element. But when you give in 4, this only goes till index number 3. So that is why we have extracted only A, true, and 2. So 2 is present at index number 3. We have extracted A, true, and 2. But when we have index number 4, so index number 4, we have the value B, but this is not extracted because index number 4 is exclusive. So let's go ahead and create a new tuple and extract some elements from those tuples. So what I'll do right now is I will have a new tuple called as tup2. And let me just store some random values inside this. I'll have 1, A, true, then I'll have 2, B, and I'll have false inside this. So I have created tup2. Now if I want to extract the first element, so that is obviously present at index number 0, I'll just type in tup2, and inside this I'll give in the index value which is 0, and as you guys see, I was able to extract this particular element from this entire tuple. Now similarly, if I want to extract the last element, so I'd have to type in tup2, I'd have to give in the parenthesis, and to extract the last element, I'd have to give in -1. And if I want to extract a series of elements, so let's say if I want to extract true, 2 and b. So here true, the index value would be 2. So I'll have tup2, the starting index value is 2, and this is 2, 3, 4, 5. So since this goes till 5, 5 is also included, I would have to give 6. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This will go till 6. Let me hit run. And as you guys see, I have included true, 2, b and false. If I let's say wanted only till b, so this will be 2, 3, 4. And if since this has to be included, I'll just give in 5 over here. And I have extracted only true, 2 and b. Now we'll actually try to modify a tuple. So initially I had told you guys that a tuple is immutable. Now when I say a tuple is immutable, I would basically mean that whatever you store inside it cannot be changed. So here I am actually trying to change the value which I had actually stored in a tuple. So as you guys see, tup1, and inside this, the whatever element was present at index number 2, I am trying to change it. But we get an error over here, and the error is tuple object does not support item assignment. So let me just print in tup2 over here. I'll hit run, and let's say if I want to change this particular value, so I have this is present at 0, 1, 2 and 3, index number 3. So tup2 and index number 3, I'd want to change that from 2 to 20. Let's see what do we get. We get the same error. Tuple object does not support item assignment because tuple is an immutable object, and that is why you cannot go ahead and change whatever is stored inside a tuple. So we have seen that a tuple cannot be modified. Now let's go ahead and perform some basic operations on top of the tuple. So here we have the same tuple where we have all of these elements over here, 1, a, true, 2, b and false. Now if you want to find out the length of a tuple, or in other words you would want to find out how many elements are present in a tuple, then we can just go ahead and use this len method. So this would give us the number of elements which are present in this tuple, and as you see over here we've got 6 elements, and that is the result over here. Then going ahead, we can also concatenate two tuples. That is, we can attach the elements of one tuple to the back end of another tuple. So here we have tup1 where we have elements 1, 2 and 3. Then we have tup2 where we have elements 4, 5 and 6. Now when we are trying to concatenate, all we have to do is use the plus symbol or the plus operator. And when we use tup1 plus tup2, we get the result 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So let's go ahead and perform these operations in Jupyter Notebook. So I'll just create the tuple again over here. I have tup1 and let me add in some elements. So I'll have 1a true, then I'll have 2b, and then I'll also have false over here. So I have created this tuple. Now if I want to check the length of it, all I have to do is use the len method, and inside this I will be passing in the object. And as you guys see, we have the result which tells us that there are 6 elements present in this tuple. Now I'll create 2 more tuples. I'll have tup2 over here, and inside this I will have the elements 1, 2 and 3. Going ahead, I'll create another tuple with the name tup3, and inside this I will store the elements 4, 5 and 6. Now I would have to perform tup2 plus tup3. Let me change the spelling over here, and as you guys see, we have concatenated these elements at the back end of tup2. So this was a very simple operation. Now if we want to repeat the elements which are present in a tuple, that is also something which we can perform. So here in this tuple we just have 2 elements which are Sparta and 300. Now if we want to repeat these elements a certain amount of time, then we have to multiply this with a scalar number. So here when I'm multiplying TUP1 with 3, I get Sparta 300, Sparta 300 and Sparta 300, which basically means I am just repeating these elements 3 times. Now we can also perform repeating and concatenating at the same point of time. So here we have TUP1 and TUP2. So first what I am doing is I am repeating the elements which are present in TUP1. So here when I use TUP1 into 3, the elements are repeated 3 times. So I have Sparta 300 repeating 3 times. Then I am attaching or concatenating TUP2 at the back end of this. So let me add a comment over here. I'll just have repeating elements in a tuple. And now I have this TUP1 over here. Let me just print out TUP1. And if I want to repeat these elements 3 times, all I have to do is type in TUP1 into 3 and let's see. So as you guys see, 1A true, 2B false. So we have this once, then the same thing is being repeated twice and the same thing is being repeated thrice. Now similarly, if I want the entire thing to be repeated 5 times, I would have to multiply this with 5. So as you guys see, I have repeated all of the elements 5 times. Now we'll do repetition and concatenation at the same time. I'll add a new comment over here. Repetition and concatenation. I'll have 2 tuples over here. I'll have TUP1 where I'll have, let's say, A, B, and then I'll have C. Then I'll go ahead and create a new tuple which will be TUP2, and inside this I will have X, Y, and then I'll also have Z. And now this is an interesting operation. So I'll have TUP1 into 3 plus TUP2, and let's see the result. So as you guys see, I have repeated the elements which are present in TUP1 3 times. So I have ABC, ABC and ABC. Then I'm adding this at the back end of it and I get X, Y and Z. So this was another simple operation. Now we also have some simple tuple functions. So if you have a tuple and if you want to find out the minimum value and the maximum value which are present in it, all we have to do is use the min method and the max method. So over here I have these elements, and if I want to find out the minimum value which is present over here, all I have to do is use the min method and I pass in the TUP1 object inside this. And as you guys see, this method tells us that the minimum value which is present in this tuple is 1. Going ahead, similarly, we use the max method, and when we pass in TUP1, this tells us that the maximum value which is present in this tuple is 5. So I'll have TUP1, and let me add some numerical values inside this. So I'll add some random numbers in a random order over here. So I have 825107. Now if I want to, I have to remove the C over here. Now if I want to find out the minimum value which is present in it, all I have to do is use the min method, and inside this I'll be passing in TUP1, and as you guys see, this method tells us that the minimum value which is present in this tuple is 0. Similarly, if you want to find out the maximum value, I'll use the max method, and inside this I'll again pass in TUP1 and we get the result of 8. This brings us to the end of this tutorial on tuples in Python. Now, before you guys sign off, I'd like to inform that we have launched a completely free platform called Great Learning Academy, where you have access to free courses such as AI, cloud, and digital marketing. Thank you very much for attending this video, and have a great learning ahead.